For veterans, active service members, and their families, there's important information you need to know when it comes to taxes. Earlier, I spoke with tax expert Mark Stieber about it.
Okay, Mark Stieber, thank you so much for joining me today. Of course, we're talking about taxes. We've just came off of Veterans Day, so we're talking about taxes for vets and other military personnel. So when it comes to income taxes, what are some of the income tax deductions that are available for vets as well as folks currently serving in the military?
Yeah, the military people have a special place in the income tax code of the United States, and rightly so for their service. So I would start off by saying at a high level, anybody who's active military and even those who are post-active need to keep in mind that their taxes are different than regular Americans. They have different exclusions, they have different deductions, they have different ways of computing things as simple as the earned income tax credit. So where most Americans, they just have income, they report it, they have some deductions, they take those. Military people, active and reserve and even retired, have additional considerations, including but not limited to some of their income might not be taxable. Some may not be taxable, but can be included in calculations of other credits. And there may be deductions not available to regular taxpayers like moving or state of residency that they need to look into. So I'll simply say it this way. If you're a military person, past, present, or future, you need to have someone help you with your taxes. They're not going to be simple, but they will result in a better tax outcome if you know where to look for the benefits.
As far as property taxes, what are some of the things they qualify for?
Well, they certainly can take a property tax deduction like all Americans if they're going to itemize. But one of the things that many veterans don't realize is their state of residency. They have a lot more latitude on where they call their home state than, say, a regular taxpayer where they live and where they vote and where their cars are registered. That's where you pay taxes. Military people, just due to their nature of being relocated and redeployed, they have some other considerations on what they call their home state, regardless of whether they're stationed or deployed in America or overseas. So a lot to keep in mind if you're a moving veteran or even if you're a stationed veteran on where you call home, what state tax return you file, and how you manage that issue.
And what about the spouses of those military folks?
Well, much like many Americans, they can file jointly if they're married and take dependents. And what we find, curiously enough, is a lot of times the spouse is the one taking care of the tax return filing obligation. So I guess my message not only goes out to active duty members and reservists and retired military, but their spouses. They should look to find a tax expert that can help them that's got experience with military issues. Many of those are located near or proximity to military base. I live in Florida, which has a large contingency of active and retired military. So most good tax companies, can help you with that. And spouses in particular need to look out for that tax resource if they're in fact handling that.
And of course, there are other taxes that they qualify for. So you say, seek a tax professional, and he or she will be able to point you in the right direction.
Absolutely. And I'll finish by saying not only are there a variety of tax benefits, tax deductions, unique tax considerations, most military members are well aware that there's a host of other benefits that they are able to take advantage of, from savings benefit plans to loans to loan conventions. So look to your benefits. The military don't always get paid as much as they're worth and what they're deserved. But what I have found, much like many regular taxpayers, there's a lot of gold in the rules that have been put there for them. But it doesn't happen easy. It doesn't happen automatic. You might have to put a little effort towards finding a person that can help you with it. But there's a lot of benefit in the tax code and elsewhere for our active duty military men and women.
Sounds good to me. Anything else you care to share with our viewers today?
I would say that this year in particular is a complicated tax year for all Americans, from the pandemic to tax law changes. And as I say, that's tough on most Americans. But if you put on top of that active or reserve or retired military, there's a lot to consider. So I guess my last point would simply be this. Don't put your taxes off to the last minute. I know everybody likes to look at April 15th as tax day, but if you've got complicated life issues, pandemic issues, and in particular, if you're in the military, start on your taxes early. Start with a shoebox. That works. Gather your documents, military or otherwise. You're going to get a lot of documents, and our military friends are used to that, but those are important. Take those to your tax pro, get all the tax benefits you can, and do it early. It's just smart money.
Mark, thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate it.
Good to be here, Sean. Talk to you soon on any other tax issue. You take care.
Take care.